Reunited. Welcome everyone. I'm gonna give everyone a second to jump in as usual. Pin my comment. I've noticed that if you set a notification for an interview, it takes a minute for you guys to get a reminder. So I'm gonna take a quick second to make sure that everyone has enough time to join. Oh, I'm so excited about today. You have no idea. And there we go.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good too. So funny. So when I asked my audience who is the person they would want me to talk to, you were the #1 person, and my heart was so full because it's like my people like my person. I felt like introducing friends and like being in love was such a fun feeling. Thank you for your time.
Oh, of course. It's my honor. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you know, but I'm a B schooler. I did copy cure. I followed you for like 6 years.
Come on.
So I'm like a hardcore old school fan. And I mean, there's so many takeaways that you taught me. Like, look where I am right now. I read my own book and I run my own business. And yeah, you changed my life. But one of my favorite things that you taught me is asking myself a question: what can I learn from this? And I want to start this video because so many people know you already and they feel like I've already heard everything Mary said before. What else can I learn from this? And can you talk about how important this question is?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all of us, right? We all have minds, and our minds just automatically jump to the conclusion that either we've heard something before or this doesn't apply to me. And it makes sense because we have millions, if not billions of bits of information coming at us from every direction every day. And so we have to filter things, and it's our brain's way of just having a little bit of a shortcut. The challenge, though, comes when we think we already know something or it doesn't apply to us. Our brains actually shut down. We stop listening, we stop learning. That means we stop innovating, and there's no possibility for us to be present and enjoy the connection. But more importantly, there's no opportunity for you to actually get to a new level of mastery. And so with an idea like, oh, I know this already, which shuts you down and prevents learning. If you say, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? All of a sudden you get curious. All of a sudden your brain starts looking for things that you can learn, which is the key to mastery on a deep level. And I think the other automatic, I call it like a little toxic thought virus that happens, is I know this already. You know, and when you say I know this already, once again, you just shut yourself down. There's no possibility for input. There's no possibility to see nuance or to see a new frame or a new lens on something that you may have been exposed to, but quite honestly, you might not be practicing in your life consistently. And I always like to tell people, you know, there's a big difference between knowing something conceptually or intellectually and actually having it be real in your life, having something be to a degree where you do it every single day, it's embodied, and you're actually getting the benefit from it. So rather than saying, I know this already or this won't work for me, it's like, how can this work for me? What can I learn from this? Those are two power questions, because when you ask the right questions and you ask smarter questions, you will get smarter answers. So I think it's just something that is a general rule of learning. And if you're someone who is committed to lifelong learning and constantly getting better, growing stronger, understanding who you are on a deeper level so you can serve on a higher level, then those are two really powerful questions to ask.
Yeah, it's like having your glass full already. You feel like there's no point talking to that person. So so many takeaways. So apart, I want to talk about the F word, but not the Figureoutable yet. We'll talk about it later. I have your book here. Awesome, by the way.
I have my book here too. Yay!
Oh, yay! Matching. How can you tell the difference between fear and intuition?
So this is one of my favorite distinctions, because I think when any of us are confronting a new opportunity in life, maybe we're considering saying yes to a new client, or whether we should say yes to a speaking engagement, or even say yes on a relationship or a trip or some adventure, we're going to feel things. And oftentimes the things that we feel, it's going to come up and be interpreted as fear. So you might have butterflies in your belly. You might feel sweat in your palms. You might just experience a sense of hesitation and go, well, wait, is this normal fear that I should move through because this is an opportunity for me to grow? Or is it my intuition telling me that I shouldn't do this, that this is a bad idea? It's like my gut instinct trying to save me from making a horrible decision. Exactly. And oftentimes when you're experiencing an opportunity in front of you, it can be difficult to discern between fear and intuition. And there's a really simple test that any of us can do at any time. I've never seen it fail. And it helps you understand for yourself the difference between fear and intuition. So you know whether or not you should say yes or you should pass and say no. And it involves going beyond your logical, reasonable mind. It involves tapping into the wisdom of your body, which for me, I think that in large as a culture, we don't do enough. You know, so many of us spend our days on small screens, we're on our computers, we're creating content, we're doing all of these things, and we're not nearly spending enough time moving or being in touch with the wisdom and the intelligence that exists in this thing that our social system right now doesn't teach us to tap into. So here's the test. When you are confronted with an opportunity and you're unsure whether or not it's fear or intuition that's creating all of these sensations in your body, you close your eyes, you get really grounded, you take a deep breath, and you ask yourself, does the idea of moving ahead with this, saying yes to this, make me feel expansive or contracted? And I guarantee you, in the nanosecond after you ask yourself that question, if you're tuned in and tapped in, you will hear an instant response. And what do I mean when I say hear an instant response? It's more like you will sense an instant response. It may be very subtle. It may be almost imperceptible, but it will be in your body. So let's walk through what that looks like. If I say yes to this opportunity, does it make me feel expansive or contracted? So expansive may actually feel like your body's moving forward in space. It may feel like your chest is lifting up, or there's a little bubble of excitement. Maybe you have imagery that appears in your mind that is really pleasant and you can see yourself doing this thing. And even though it's intimidating, even though you've never done it before, even though you have no idea how you're going to pull this off, there's something that feels expansive or good or joyful about saying yes. All right. So you might have different words to describe it, but I think most of us can identify with a feeling of expansiveness, however that might show up for us physically or even energetically. Now, if you close your eyes and you ask that question, does the idea of saying yes to this make me feel expansive or contracted? And all of a sudden, maybe your shoulders hunch down, or you have a little bit of a pit in your stomach, or you sense dread, or even if your eyes are closed, your head is like shaking no, or you're moving back in space. Those are all indicators that you are contracting, right? That something in you is going like, this ain't right. There's something about this that's not good. And here's where this gets really interesting. Because oftentimes in life, there are opportunities that will present themselves that sound really good on paper, especially to our egos. Perhaps it's with a particular person who's well known or they're famous, or perhaps it's an opportunity where there's a lot of money on the line, or there's something about this that in your mind says, but someone should say, I should say yes to this. This is going to help me get ahead. This is going to be the next thing that's really going to push me to that next level.
Or like good opportunities don't happen twice, or I don't know what the saying is.
Correct. This is like my once in a lifetime chance. And you override that contractive feeling because your ego's in control and you think you have to chase something to get ahead. And most people listening or watching right now probably have an example in their own life, I know I certainly do, where something in your body was saying like, no, even though this sounds good on paper, even though everyone in my position would say yes to this, there's something about this that just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel joyful. It feels like heavy and not something that I really want to do. And you override that feeling and you say yes, and then it's miserable. There's all these things that you're like, I don't even want to do the work, or there's challenges, or there's toxic people, or there's problems that just pile up because you didn't listen to your intuition. So that very simple test of asking yourself in the moment, does the idea of saying yes to this opportunity make me feel expansive or contracted? You're not looking outside of yourself for the answers. You're not talking to your 15 coaches or your 17 friends or your parents or taking surveys from what people say that you should do with your life, you are actually rooting in your own wisdom, which is what we don't have enough instruction on how to do. And that's why that test
100%.
is so valuable, because you learn on a deeper level to trust your own natural knowing.
Yeah, and you also lose respect to yourself. I've heard you say that before, that this is the first time I have a question about this role.
Yeah.
Do you think this role applies to relationships as well?
Oh, 100%. So there's probably a little more that you need to dig into. So for example, you know, Josh and I have been together for 17 years.
I know, which is fucking crazy.
It's great, you know, and it has not been all like unicorns and people tossing roses at one another, and it certainly hasn't been easy. And when we've hit challenges in our relationship, I really do tune in and ask myself, like, do I want to dig in and do the hard work, the uncomfortable work that is necessary to see if this relationship can get deeper, can heal, and can continue on? And all the time, despite how pissed off I was, or despite how angry and frustrated I felt, the deeper truth was an expansive yes, even though it was uncomfortable, even though I knew it was not going to be pleasant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can still use that test to get down to a deeper truth of whether or not you want to take the next step in any relationship that you're in.
Yeah, and I think 17 years together, like choosing over and over every day to be with the same person it's not easy, but it's beautiful, and I admire you for that. But actually, that now that we're talking relationships, I heard you talk about the coffin, and I thought it was such a beautiful, eye-opening exercise to do. So I wasn't going to ask about that, but why don't we just bring this up? Because it's actually really good. Probably if people are stuck at home with each other, fighting about little shit, and they're like, oh my God, like, why did he not take the dish, like take out the trash? And this would be helpful.
Yeah, so this is a little morbid game that I play with myself, and it is something that has stuck with me for years, because I think all of us human beings, one of the things that happens is we do take each other for granted, and we can get swept away in any relationship, in minor frustrations, in things that build up like resentments over time, where you start to hold back a piece of your heart, and you start to look at this person that you're sharing life with, and you can disregard them, and you can at night go like, well, I'm just going to go to sleep, I'm tired. Or, you know, in the morning you kind of get up and go do your thing, and that pattern can start to take hold. And one of the things that I've done in my life to keep myself in check is I actually imagine, because I know the root of truth, all of us are going to pass at some point. That's something that we know. We don't know when. Hopefully it will be many, many years from now. But what we do know is that we're not here forever. And for me, I don't know whether I'm going to be around and pass first or Josh is, but the trick is I actually envision seeing him in a coffin, knowing that it's possible that day will come. And when I think about who I would be in that moment, seeing my beloved, crying, respecting him, and then thinking back to the moment I'm currently in, going, do you really want to go to bed angry right now? Do you really want to not give him that kiss? Do you really want to harden your heart? Are you going to look back on all the times where you were a bitch and think, why did I waste that moment? Why did I hold back my heart? Why didn't I honor him and love him and cherish him and be close to him every single second I had a chance to?
Yeah, and held on to that silly argument.
Yes. And it sounds, again, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm a very visual person, and I'm also a realist. And I remind myself very often, none of us are going to be here forever in this form.
Yeah.
So it helps me keep myself in check so that when I get caught in a pattern, that I can kick myself out of it and remember what's really important.
Yeah, and I think that like in today's world, we're getting so isolated from the idea of dying and death in general. Like the Greek philosophers were like, memento mori, remember you're going to die. It was something that you live with this thought every day, not to scare you, but to live
inspire you, to wake you up.
Yeah, and now we're just like, oh, this is scary. Like people are like, oh, this is interesting, and I'm like, well, this is reality. This is truth, and you know, you gotta like suck it up and realize this is gonna happen sooner or later. So I love that you were so direct. How do you dream big? Because I admire you for years now, and I feel like you have an amazing ability to dream big. And a lot of people, even right now, when they don't know what to do with their lives, they don't even know how to dream big.
Yeah, well, so here's one of the things. I want to state this up front, and then we'll dive into that piece too. So I don't believe, and this is the truth in my heart, I do not believe that bigger dreams are necessarily better dreams. I think that all sizes of dreams have validity. And I think that we're each at such a different stage in our journey that sometimes the emphasis, and I'm not saying you're doing this, I'm saying just societal, right?
No, but I'm totally doing it right now, by the way. And I'm
but it's okay. But let's talk about that. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So we've all received this message, right? If you either dream big or like go big or go home.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not dreaming big enough, that somehow you're not kind of squeezing all the juice of your potential out in this moment and you're somehow falling short. That if you don't have this moonshot goal, well, you're just not trying hard enough and you may not be the change maker that you think you are. I think that's some class A bullshit. I think it's a very narrow and monolithic way of thinking that, again, only the biggest dreams are the best dreams. What I found in my experience, and again, working with people for 20 years, is this. There are certain times of our lives where a small dream is actually the perfect thing for us. So what do I mean by a small dream? Maybe the small dream for right now, based on your own life circumstances, based on your own journey where you are, you want your house to feel really nourishing, right? And the small dream is to make your physical environment just something that brings you peace and a sense of calm. Maybe the small dream for you right now, where you are in your life, is you really need to reshape and kickstart your health. Maybe you're having a health challenge, or you find yourself eating foods again and again because they're addictive, that aren't good for your mind or your body or your gut or your ability to even just create. So you have a ton of brain fog. So a smaller dream for you might be like, you know what? Gosh, over the next 15 to 20 days, my dream is just to get myself feeling good again and thinking clearly and showing up for myself every single day. Now, in the grand scheme of like, am I building this billion-dollar Google company? That would seem like a small dream, right? But what if that small dream that lights up your heart right now is what your life and your soul is trying to get you to focus on, because that's the next step in your evolution.
Yeah, wow, that was so good.
And I'll just say this too. Maybe having a dream to like have a really beautiful, peaceful life and have no debt and to grow your own vegetables and to be a responsible, loving, kind human citizen. What if that's one of the most profound and impactful dreams that all of us could have? Like if you actually take that out, if you actually take that quote unquote small dream out, where people were paying attention to what they consume, how they recycle or don't recycle, what their impact is energetically on other people around them. Could you imagine if 7 point whatever billion people had that small dream, what a gigantic impact it would have? So that's why I'm always a little suspicious, and we can talk about how to dream big too. So I want to go on the other side.
That was amazing.
It's not either or, it's both and. But I absolutely believe, and I'll put this into context for what happened in my own life. I remember when I first started my business, there were so many business books, and I understand this because it's a valid concept, but there were a lot of pieces of advice out there, like you have to have this long-term vision, and you know, what's your 5-year plan, and where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in 15 years? And what do you, and I was just like, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea. And I felt so much shame because I didn't have the ability to think out that way yet. I wasn't there yet. Does that make sense? And so I felt so bad about myself because I didn't have this huge vision, which is another version of a big dream.
Which is exactly why I asked this question, because a lot of people feel, oh my God, my dreams aren't big enough. What's wrong with me? Because
No, that is just more of societal's ideas making you feel, once again, some shame and some feeling bad about who you authentically are in this moment.
Yeah.
So for me, again, taking it back to that vision piece, and then we'll talk about the dream big. When I was probably about 7, 8, maybe 10 years into my journey, my brain just changed a little bit. I had more experience. I had been around the block a few times. I had gone down a few different paths. And for whatever reason, my brain was more easily able to lean into the future and to have a bigger vision.
Yeah.
It was like a natural unfolding. It was an organic progression where then I was like, oh, I understand this. This feels right. This is where I am at this moment. So there is so much joy and freedom that comes in trusting yourself again and in aligning in where you are in your journey and not forcing yourself to be where someone else is or be where you've been before. So let's talk about how to dream big. So let's say you're watching this around now and you're like, but I really want to dream big. Okay, good. We're going to go for you because that's possible as well. One of the best tools that I've ever found for helping yourself dream big is a simple phrase that goes like this. Wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if? So it's a little sentence stem. And when
it's in the book, by the way, for everyone who wants to learn more about it.
Yes, yes. It is in the book, and I would recommend it too. And I will share this with you. I think we're now in 30 languages. They're not all published yet, but they're kind of in a moving calendar where as they get translated, they come out. Thank you. But this little sentence, what you can do is in your journal or wherever you do great brainstorming, I would encourage you and invite you to say, wouldn't it be cool if, whatever area of your life you want to dream big on, if it's your career or business, wouldn't it be cool if, and then just write the most outrageous, joyful, exciting thing that can come into your mind. Wouldn't it be cool if I had a team of dozens and dozens of people that would help me bring my visions to life, and there were people I really wanted to hang out with, and we had a virtual company and there was no physical office, but everyone loved each other and we laughed a ton and we made tons of money and we gave a lot back. That's what I dreamed of. And that's my reality. I've done, wouldn't it be
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
That would be really cool.
Yes, I've done it in my financial life. Wouldn't it be cool if I have absolutely no debt and X, Y, and Z? Like the wouldn't it be cool if is like a magic wand for your mind. It opens it up. It opens up your heart and allows you to start pouring out things that you may have not have given yourself permission to even articulate, because you're like, well, I don't know how I would do that. Is that even possible? What would that? No. When you're in wouldn't it be cool if land, there are no bad ideas. You do not edit. You just get everything out on the page. And then as we talk about in the book, then you can kind of go through a little bit of an editing process to see, well, which of these are really exciting to me. And then once you choose one or two that really are aligned with something that you want to create, even if it feels like a big stretch, the book, Everything is Figureoutable, will help you reverse engineer the steps you need to take, the mindsets you need to adopt, and the habits that you need to embody every day to get on the path to bringing that to life.
Yeah. Another great thing that I loved in the book is the difference between I can't and I want.
Yes.
It's so eye-opening. I was like, fuck, I do it all the time.
All of us do. So, you know, there's an entire chapter in the book about eliminating excuses, because, you know, when we accept this notion, if you are open to accepting my philosophy and belief, which I invite you to, that everything is figure-outable, well, then we need to start asking ourselves, well, okay, if that is true, what's stopping me from figuring whatever out? And one of the things that can come up for us is our excuses. And again, we all make excuses from time to time. I make them, you make them, everyone listening makes them. It does not make us bad. We don't have to feel shame about it. It's just really natural and it's really normal. But if you want to start living an excuse-free life, and if you really do want to figure out your biggest dreams, you do have to kind of get rid of those excuses. And the fastest way to melt them is to understand the difference between two 4-letter words that all of us use a lot of the time, can't versus won't. So how many of us have said to ourselves, you know, oh gosh, I would really love to, you know, feel strong again in my body, but I can't. I can't find the time to work out.
I can't find the time is no longer an excuse.
That's right. That's right. Or if, let's say, you know, I really want to start this new design business, but I would need to take this class, but I can't afford it. Or, you know, I really know I could feel so good if I could just, you know, if this person, if I could forgive them, but I can't. And it's like 99% of the time when we human beings, again, not 100, but 99% of the time, when we say we can't, what we really mean is we won't. It means we don't want to. We're not willing to. We don't want to be inconvenienced. We don't want to make the sacrifice. We don't want to work that hard. We don't want to do what is required to actually make that thing come to life. And if, as an experiment for everyone listening, you just start to pay attention to your language, both what you think in your own head and what you say verbally, either to yourself or to others. Anytime you catch yourself saying the word, oh, I can't, pause and replace it with won't and see if that's not more true. Again, 99% of the time, not 100, but 99% of the time when we say we can't, we really mean we won't. It's not a priority. It's not what we want to focus on. It's not how we really want to spend our time, or it's not that important to us. And when we're able to bring that level of self-honesty to the table, we become free. Because we're not lying to ourselves saying, I can't do this, I don't have the time. It's like, no, that's some bullshit. You always have time for what's important to you. One of the things I say to myself often is, if it's important enough, you'll make the time, and if not, you'll make an excuse. And that usually handles a lot of the excuses that all of us can have around time, money, energy, resources.
And you make people say it out loud. So for example, for me, it was like, well, it's not my priority right now to do this. And it pains to say it. And you're like, say it. That's why you have to say it. Because
but is it the truth though, right?
Yeah, it is the truth.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't find the time. I'm like, this isn't my priority right now. And I'm like, oh shit, it's so true.
I know, but that's what's great. And when you do say that out loud, right? If you say, oh, I just won't do it, or it's not my priority right now, all of a sudden you're like, gosh, that is the truth for me. And I find that after you get over that little bit of either embarrassment or like, you're like, I'm free. I'm free.
So good. Okay, I cannot, because one more question before you go. You've been in the business for over 20 years. You've been in a relationship for 17. You're like a real marathon runner. How do you keep yourself excited and passionate about doing something long term? Because a lot of people get bored. They want instant gratification. They want instant results, and then they get bored. So how do you keep it exciting?
Yeah, for me, I feel like my parents gave me a really great gift. So, my entire family don't come from money. It was like immigrants and working really hard and working 7 days a week and that kind of mentality. So I grew up in an environment that nothing was instant, where everything took a long time, and the work ethic was such that, like, no, if you want something, you work for it, and you
call yourself a turtle,
right?
You call yourself a turtle.
I do, because I'm methodical, and I'm also just realistic. I think that because I started in like 1999, 2001, I was able to see the internet before the world of social media, and I was able to understand how things work on such a level. And I just, quite frankly, I had been in the corporate world, and I had like tried all of these different careers, and I hit so many walls and failed and hated them, that once I started my own business, I knew I couldn't go back. I was like, however long this takes, I'm gonna make it work, because the other thing was so painful. But in terms of keeping myself passionate, I think for me as a human being, I love seeing other people win. I really, really do. And I think if you were gonna excel in any business, you can't rest on your laurels. Technology changes at such a lightning speed. The markets change, tastes change, what people want change. Like me as a human being, I'm continuing to evolve, and I consider myself a lifelong learner. Like the thing I'm the most addicted to is books. So I buy books constantly. I've always got like 5, 6, all these books. I go back and read other ones. And so I get so excited about new things that I'm learning, and new people that I meet, and people that I interview on the Marie Forleo podcast or Marie TV, that I just am like, and now I gotta talk about this, and now I gotta share this. So I feel as though it's kind of innate in me to a certain degree. Yeah, and it's just like knowing that this is my core reason for being on the planet. And so as long as I have the blessing to actually be here with people and to be able to connect, it's like, I want to do it. I want to do whatever it takes. And I think that people should give themselves permission too. like my journey has evolved, right? You know, so I was doing one-on-one coaching when I first started out, and then it evolved to group coaching. And then there was the whole period where there was teaching hip hop and being a Nike elite dance athlete and traveling around the world, and then transitioning into my full-time online business and then growing that. And so there's all of these different layers, and there's different things that can come. But one of the things I've learned from B-schoolers too, and I want people to give themselves permission to this, it's okay to change. It's okay to evolve. And so if you find yourself at a stage where you're like, wow, I'm ready for a new chapter, that's awesome, right? That's amazing. Yeah. And to be able to trust yourself to say, this is what I did before, this chapter is now done, and now I'm beginning a new chapter. I think that that's equally as beautiful and valid too.
Oh, that's so awesome. I have to say it was a little stressful to like interview one of the best interviewer on the planet. So many of your interviews, I was like, shit, this is not going to be easy. No. Thank you for your time, Marie. For those of you who fell in love with you as much as I did, where can we find you? So marieforleo.com has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free episodes of Marie TV, which are also, if you love podcasts, you should listen to the Marie Forleo podcast. You can find that wherever you find your podcast. And then, of course, at Instagram, it's at Marie Forleo. And we've been doing fun self-care Saturdays every week, which have been a really, really good time. They're all up in IGTV. Please talk about B School, because it's so good. It's the best online course about like, starting your own business. So please.
You know what I will talk about? I'll talk about B School for a second, and then I will talk about Copy Cure, because that one's actually coming up. And since
Perfect. And I did this as well.
Yes. Yeah. So B School is our online business school for modern entrepreneurs who want to make money and make a difference. And at this point, we've had over 65,000 graduates from over 600 different industries in 141 different countries. So folks who are just starting out in business, who have no idea what they want to do, and folks who've had like multi-million-dollar businesses and they are just looking for a reboot, looking for a refresh, want to see things from fresh eyes. So I'm really proud of that program. You can check it out at joinbschool.com.
It's growing into a city, Marie. It's a B city.
It is. But the thing that's coming up next, I think, especially for creatives right now, you know, someone who's a writer or a small business owner or someone who has their own brand in some way, especially in the midst of what's happening globally, your messaging is more important than ever. How you communicate, how you contextualize, how you connect with people from the heart, and how you actually write the notes, whether it's in social, in email, if you're doing a video. Using the right messaging is crucial to not only getting your message across, but having it convert in a way that really feels good. So the Copy Cure, that's at thecopycure.com, that's coming up next. And we actually have a free 7-day writing class there. So if you go to thecopycure.com, you'll get the free 7-day writing class, and we'll be doing more free trainings coming up. And then if you want to join the program in a few weeks, you totally can.
Yeah. And for those of you who think you can't learn how to write, you actually can. And there's a couple of tricks, and it's super fun, not overwhelming, not too long. It was really good. And last but not least, everything is Figureoutable.
Yeah.
You can check out the book, ebook. Marie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, everyone. Great to be with you.
Have a great day. Bye.